Sometimes you're a fire, sometimes you're a ghost. Sometimes you can give me all the things that I love the most. Sometimes you're a queen, sometimes you're a curse, and sometimes a whole lot worse. Yeah, nobody's quite like you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Blue Hell Worldwide here on Shaun Does FM, and today in episode number 22 we enter the start of the mid-season transfer window. In season 2 here at Sporting Kansas City, we're going to see if Wilson Harris or Willian Igor can fill the role that has been left by the injury to Alan Pulido when taking on Fluminense in the Super League Cup round of 64 and then Getafe in the FA Cup 8th round. And in between those two games, we've also got a big league game against top of the table Palmeiras as well. So if you're looking forward to this episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and all that other good YouTube algorithm stuff, hitting the subscribe button, turning the notification bell on if you haven't done so already, and enjoy the series here on the channel. But if you did miss yesterday's episode, I will leave a link to it above my head in the top right corner. Some really good form from us, but unfortunately that got countered somewhat by a big injury to Alan Pulido, out for 3 to 4 months with a torn calf muscle. So we are going to be testing the depth up front today, and we'll see if we need to delve into the loan market in this upcoming transfer window, which we will reach by the time we get to the second game in today's episode. But first things first, we'll see if we can continue this good run of form without Pulido in the games we've played off camera since qualifying for those Europa League knockouts, which we did at the end of yesterday's episode. First off, we were back in the league with the first 11, with Reyes in there for Pulido, of course, taking on Pachuca, a team who got off to a flying start at the start of the season. Not so good since then, and this was the home game for us, and we performed very well, opening the scoring around the 11th minute mark. Jala de Busio Russell over for Reyes, just really good short passing to set him up, put away in the bottom right corner and make it 1-0 early on. That was the halftime score. Then early in the second half, 10 minutes gone, a free kick which finds Punchik open at the far post to make it 2-0. Then a poor pass there from one of the Pachuca defenders. Wintle will slot Reyes through again, and he finishes it yet again into the bottom right corner. So good stuff still from Anthony Reyes. He is living up to the first 11 striking choice. And then Fontas from a corner with 25 minutes to go. That sealed things. A very comprehensive 4-0 win for the first team there, and we were very happy with that result, as that kept our march up the table in the Brasileiro Serie A continuing. And it was first versus second in our Europa League group. This game didn't have a lot riding on it apart from deciding the finishing order in the group between us and Monza. The game was played in Italy, and just before halftime we did open the scoring. Remy Walter on the ball over to Doyle Hayes, slots through Daniel Shalloy, and he puts it away yet again in the bottom right corner, and we were 1-0 up just before half-time. But unfortunately, right after the restart, a corner there, nice flick on there from Mavropanos to Batalla, and they do make it 1-0. But very late in this game, Johnny F. and Russell down the right-hand side, in for Walter. He fizzes one across for Doyle Hayes, falls very kindly that for Anthony Reyes, and he gets another goal on the score sheet off the bench this time, and we escape with a 2-1 win from Italy. A very even game stat-wise. We did have a lot more shots on target though, so I think that's where we just edged things, and another good win for us there, which means that we did qualify top from our Europa League group, so a slight improvement on what we did last season. So what that means for the league table going into today's game is that we still do sit in fourth, still a decent gap behind the likes of Corinthians, Flamengo, and the opposition in between games in today's episode, Palmeiras. We're in a good position, but still only 9 points away from the relegation zone, so it's still a very condensed table and behind those top 3 teams, and we do have a tough little run coming up in the league, taking on the likes of Palmeiras and Flamengo at reasonably short notice. So hopefully those points on the board for us can keep us in a decent position until we do get some of those easier games a little bit later on in the season. And Europa League wise, with that win against Monza, we did top our group. Of course, that was really the only thing that was left to be decided. And in terms of the knockouts, when we'll probably come back for this in tomorrow's episode off the back of the Flamengo game, we are taking on Beijing Guan, the team that we took to the Asian Champions League in the Hexagon Challenge. They will be our opponents, and I think that's a fairly winnable tie for us, but we'll have to get there first and see if we do need to improve our striking options for this rotation team, because that is more or less what today's episode is about. And if we can keep these cup runs going as well, that will be a nice little bonus, as we have already got to where we need to for the board in both of those competitions. But we'll show you guys the options that we do have for this rotation team up front now, and who we've narrowed it down to after that injury to Polito. And the number one choice for the rotation spot, now that Polito is out and Reyes has gone into that first 11, is actually 18-year-old Brazilian Willian Igor. This is a guy who we signed right at the start of the save, but he only arrived at the start of this year at the club from the Seattle Sounders Academy. You can see he is improving greatly. Didn't play very well in the game where Reyes came on against Monza to get us the winning goal, but he looks like a good, promising talent. He's got very good dribbling, nice technique, and he just, stats-wise, when I weighed him up as an advanced forward next to our backup striker from last season, Wilson Harris, he actually did look a little bit better than him. So we're going to try him first, and if he doesn't perform, we will, of course, go back to Wilson Harris, see what he can do. And if neither of these guys perform, we might go looking in the low market. I did have a striker from Leeds who I had teed up right at the start of the season. I went against it back then just because I wanted to give Anthony Reyes some game time, and now he is not interested in the loan. So that was one of the ideas that I had for that situation if neither of these two guys did perform, but that's not going to come to fruition now. So I'll have to do some digging if we do need a striker who's a bit better quality than both Igor or Harris to come in on loan. But hopefully one of these two guys can do the job, either Willian Igor or the familiar face from last season here in Wilson Harris, who does have slightly better finishing, but not quite as well-rounded, I would argue, as Willian Igor, and not as much potential either. So thinking that we'll give the young guy the first crack at this, and if he doesn't perform again today, similar to what he did in the Monza game where he had a 6.3 rating, then we'll give Wilson Harris a shot, and if he performs, I think we'll try and stick with him for the rest of the season until Polito does come back. But we will also need to look potentially at one more player to come in on loan, and that is because coming up in the save, we have Ambloise Iyongo going away for the African Cup of Nations with Cameroon. He's going to be away for just over a month, and he is our first choice left back. We do have Louis Martins as a very capable fill-in the meantime, but behind that we sort of fall to the likes of Aidan Stanley. So I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of business there as well and try and pick up a left back on loan just to keep that nice little quality and depth that we do have here at Sporting Kansas City going, while Iyongo is away at the African Cup of Nations, which do start very shortly off the back of the Getafe game in the second game of today's episode, I believe. So two areas where we might need to strengthen there, definitely looking at left back. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've already put in an offer for a Manchester United left back. We'll see what happens there if he joins us or goes to another team, because there's quite a few teams interested in that player. We'll have a quick look at him now, in fact, but this is an area that I am quite keen to get someone coming in on. And this is the guy that we are talking about, Alvaro Fernandez. You can see he's got a 77 scout rating, quite a few pros, not many cons. If you have a deeper look at him, he is rated 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. So definitely a player who I would like to bring in for the second half of the season just to cover for Iyongo while he is away at those African Cup of Nations. But he is wanted by quite a few clubs, so I'm hoping we'll get him over the line, but not a guarantee. But he is the obvious name, being under 18 years old. He will not need to be registered, which is one of the other things we need to consider with these players who we do bring in on loan, as at the moment we do have all of our registration slots filled. But that's one that I'm definitely going to be doing pretty much straight off the back of this little recorded bit that I'm doing. But yeah, we'll just see how those strikers go and whether we need to bring in another striker as well. But in the first game of today's episode, it is the Super League Cup. We've made our way through to the round of 64, and we're taking on Fluminense, the Brazilian outfit playing out of the Maracana, who currently find themselves 18th in La Liga. So we're definitely doing better than they are in their league. So this could be a winnable tie for us, albeit we are using the rotation team in these cup competitions from now on. Want to focus on the league and just make sure that we do get as many points as we can in that competition to try and stay up, as even though we do lie in fourth, as I said, it's a very condensed table. But even with the rotation, it's going to be interesting to see what we can do. I'd still back us to win this game, but we'll just see what happens, as this might be a slightly stronger division than the one that we find ourselves in by the look of it, with the likes of Porto and Sporting in there, as well as the likes of Benfica. So it does look like a little bit of a stronger division than ours on the Super League 1 tier. But we'll see what the rotation team can do. And Willian Igor, he's going to get the start in this game, and we will come back shortly from the Maracana and see if we can keep progressing in the Super League Cup. And we do have TV coverage for this game. Fluminense at home up first and playing the exact same formation as we are. Their form of late a little bit patchy. And there is our team with the 4-3-3, pretty much the usual rotation team now. But as we said, we'll see if Willian Egor can improve on his performance from the Monza game. Fluminense in the green and white, we are in the light blue hoops. And we'll see if we can do anything in this round of 64 clash. 16 minutes gone. The first highlight is for Fluminense, a far post free kick. It comes off the crossbar and we do deal with that. Goes out for a corner, but a good chance early for them there. Still it remains 0-0. 27 minutes gone now and we are down the other end with a throw in here for us. Bolton puts us in. Daniel Shelly with a header very close to Pereira, but he does well to hold on to that. Good chance for both teams now, but still it remains 0-0. And now we have a throw in a fairly similar area of the pitch to before, although that's a poor pass, and Pacheco will make his way down the left wing for Fluminense here. And we could be under pressure as he makes his way down the left, just cutting in field a little bit. Finds Martinelli, and that's a really good finish there from one of the Fluminense attackers. And they make it 1-0 just on the half-hour mark. We were in a good position down the other end, but we did give the ball away. Pacheco just gets for our defence a little bit easily, cuts inside here, finds a bit of space. Martinelli just given too much space on the edge of the box. Really nice finish into the bottom left corner, and we go 1-0 down at the half-hour mark. 34 minutes gone now. It's a free kick to Fluminense. They take it outside the box for Yuri, and now Felipe back on the ball as they try and extend their advantage. But so far, they do look the better team. Zusi heading that away safely for a brief moment. But now Luis Enrique makes his way forward, and Zusi has given away a penalty and gone down with an injury. So that's not a great few minutes from him there, and it is a red injury. So I think we're going to have to take him off the back of this, which isn't ideal. White with the penalty, and it just gets past Deschamps. I think he might have got to that, but couldn't quite keep it out. Could our French goalkeeper, and we are going to have to make a change off the back of this. He does get to it, yeah, just didn't quite keep it out. So that was a good chance to keep it at 1-0, but we go 2-0 down right before halftime. Not a good first half here, and we're going to have to bring on Matt Olasunde for Zusi thanks to that injury. So not a good start to this game so far. 2-0 down before halftime. And we get to halftime, still 2-0, but not a good half for us there. That Zusi injury certainly not helping things when he gave the penalty away. We're going to make one change at halftime. There are quite a few players not delivering, but Walter isn't and is also on a yellow heart. So we're going to bring Ryan Wintle on for him in the attacking playmaker role. Behind my head, Willian Egor on a 6.3. So if he doesn't perform around the hour mark, we'll bring Reyes on for him as well. But not in a good spot here at the moment. Not going well. 2-0 down to Fluminense in the Super League Cup at halftime. And we are up to the 60-minute mark. We're going to make our last substitution. Willian Egor might not be ready for first-team football based on the 2 games that we've given him, a 6.2 to back up the 6.3 against Monza. So Reyes will come in for him today. Hopefully we can get a goal back and try and make this competitive again, but might be Wilson Harris getting a start in the Getafe game later in today's episode. But we'll see if we can do something. Our last substitution, half an hour to go, still 2-0 down. 72 minutes gone, and it is a throw in here for Fluminense, albeit deep in their half, as we do look to get the ball back, but it's a nice ball up for Luis Enrique, and now Basale around the halfway line, and they look to get on the attack again so far. Stat-wise, we've actually been the better team, but they have been very good with their chances, and there's another one. Luis Enrique from the assist from Martinelli, and that will surely seal things with less than 20 minutes to go. I think we are going to be making our way out of the Super League Cup. It was some good passing here. Martinelli just getting beyond his man, and then Luis Enrique from a tight angle sneaking that past Deschamps, who's not having a good game in goal either. A few of our boys not really performing today, and with quarter of an hour to go, it is 3-0 to Fluminense. 76 minutes gone, and shortly off the back of that third goal for Fluminense, we might have a chance to try and get some pride back in this game. Wintle with a ball. Reyes flicks it down for Shalloy, but it's offside. I'm not too sure which of those two were offside. I think that ball was going to find Shalloy anyway. If we look at this, the pass from Wintle, and it's actually Reyes who's offside. If he leaves that for Shalloy, it would have been a goal. So that's a little bit frustrating, but still 3-0 with 10 minutes to go. And we have entered injury time in this game. You look at the stats there. If you get rid of their penalty that they got, that was somewhat dominated from us that game, but in the end, we weren't clinical enough with our chances. They were very clinical with theirs, and of course the penalty that we gave away through Zusi. I did think it was a bit of a harsh penalty at the time. I thought he did win the ball, but I suppose he did go off injured as well, so it might have been a bit of a harsher tackle than I thought. But either way, we actually played decently, just not many highlights going in our favour. Gave away a penalty, and yeah, pretty bad day at the office, truth be told. So we make our way out of the Super League Cup. I think that's going to be Willian Igor's chances of more first team football gone for the rest of the season. So now it's down to Wilson Harris. Otherwise, we'll go looking in the loan market for a striker, but we'll come back shortly for highlights of a pretty important league game against Palmeiras, top of the table. And I lie, of course, we do need to update you guys on the Zusi injury, and unfortunately, it's a bit of a decent one. Torn wrist ligaments. He cannot play through that apparently, which is interesting, being an arm injury. The 35-year-old out for 5 to 6 weeks. So that means Jalen Lindsay will come back into that rotation team and be the first choice backup to Matt Olasunde. But we will come back off the back of this for those Palmeiras highlights. Okay, so we are still not quite up to that Palmeiras game. A bit of interesting stuff happening in the inbox prior to this transfer window. And here is another one. Some of the players who are available on a free transfer at the end of their contract expiring around 6 months when this transfer window does open. I'm not too sure how many of these guys are going to be interested in us, but as you can see there, some quite big names. Yusufa Makoko running out of contract at Dortmund. That would be a great pickup if he's interested. Also the likes of Benzema, Ronaldo, Milik, even Rafinha, the right back from Leicester, but some pretty good names there. Douglas Costa, Julian Silva. Make our way down a bit more, and the names aren't quite as exciting, but definitely some good options for us if they are interested. We'll have to wait and see, but could be some interesting moves coming up on free transfers in this upcoming transfer window. If we could get Makoko, that would be incredible, but I'm not holding my hopes high. But yeah, thought we'd show you guys those, as it could be some interesting stuff coming up for the start of Season 3 in this World Super League save with those contracts expiring. And finally, we have got to the Palmeiras game and played it. This was always going to be a tough test for us against top of the table and a team who are somewhat comfortably up there as well, especially away from home. They did humiliate us back at Children's Mercy Park earlier this year from memory, but we did not get off to a good start in this game. We tried to clear that ball in the 3rd minute, but they got back on it. Bina to Dudu, slots one through for Gabriel Veron, and they make it 1-0 at the 4-minute mark, and it didn't improve from there, unfortunately. In the 6th minute, Ronnie makes his way forward down the right wing. No one really picks him up, and he fires that one past Melia, who doesn't really attempt anything there, just comes out slightly and doesn't get to it. That made it 2-0. Then Mecha loses the ball there in the 12th minute. They play it for Rafael Vega, and he puts that in the bottom left corner. And at the 12-minute mark, we were 3-0 down. Luckily, a few minutes later, we did get a penalty, which Johnny F. and Russell did put away. So we got some respectability back in the game at 3-1. And then about 5 minutes before halftime, we actually got right back in this game. Mecha with a wonderful ball for Reyes' first time finish in the bottom left corner. And we did go into halftime at 3-2 with a little bit of hope. We held in there for quite a while, but then around the 80th minute, they got a goal. Ronnie with the shot that was saved by Melia, but it falls very kindly for Dudu at the far post. Slots that away, and we eventually go down 4-2 to Palmeiras. Pretty proud of the effort, because that is a team who are, as I said, top of the table, and those top 3 teams in this division do look significantly better than the rest. But stats-wise, that was a game that we were right in. Just that bad start costing us. We came back into it, but that late goal to Dudu did seal things. But despite the ratings not looking great for us, we actually put up a pretty good fight in that game, I felt like. So what that means for the Serie A table as we go into the FA Cup 8th round game against Getafe, still in 4th, but as you can see, those top 3 teams now with a big gap on us. I don't think we have any chance of getting promotion out of this division this year. It's definitely going to be about staying in this division, which we're doing a good job of so far, but only 8 points between us and Valles down in 17th, and even Tigres in 18th. So as I said before, still a very condensed table in the Brasileiro Serie A. But for the second game of today's episode, we are taking on Getafe. Wilson Harris comes into the first 11 for Willian Igor. That's one of the changes, and also Jalen Lindsay for Graham Zusi, of course. And if we go to the inbox, we've also had some awards come up. We've got the FIFA Best Under-21 Men's Player for 2021, Dejan Kulusevski, the Swedish right winger who is currently at Juventus. He picks up the Under-21 Best Player. And in terms of the FIFA Men's Best Player, it was Kevin De Bruyne beating, rather surprisingly, Ciro Immobile in second, and then Lionel Messi in third. So no Ronaldo there, so maybe Messi is better in Football Manager anyway than real life, because not enjoying PSG at the moment by the looks of it. But those are some awards that have been given out right at the end of 2021, but we'll come back shortly and try and keep our FA Cup hopes alive when taking on Getafe in the 8th round of the Cup. We will show you guys where those guys are, in fact, before we do get into the game. Marco Silva, their manager, another team in the La Liga division, and they are slightly above Fluminense, up in 16th. So in theory, this will actually be a tougher game than the first one of today's episode was, but we'll see what we can do in the FA Cup, and with Wilson Harris stepping in for Willian Eagle. We'll come back shortly from Children's Mercy Park for this 8th round FA Cup tie. And another game with TV coverage for us here. There's our team as we ran through before. Hopefully we can turn around that little bad patch of form that we've found, albeit against decent opposition. And there is Getafe, who are really struggling, to be fair, so that does give us some hope playing a 4-2-3-1. They are in the dark red and almost sort of maroon colours. We're in the light blue again, and hopefully we can continue our FA Cup journey here. 42 minutes gone, the first highlight of this game, so it's been a pretty quiet affair so far based on what we've seen anyway, but we are on the ball in a good position. Bolton with a shot, it's blocked. They do try and clear it there, do Getafe, but we do pick things up again and make our way down the right. That's a nice ball there for Lindsay, and Wilson Harris will pick up his first goal of the season, and maybe we will be able to hold on to him and just not have to bring in a striker on loan, because that's a good finish there, and it was the other player coming into this rotation team after the injury in the first game today. It was Jalen Lindsay. Thought he was playing that for Bolton, but it was Harris, and he beats the goalkeeper at the near post, and just before half-time, we go 1-0 up. And that is half-time in this game against Getafe. You can see we're just edging things out stats-wise, definitely shots on target-wise anyway, and luckily we made the most of that in the 42nd minute through Wilson Harris, who is currently our man of the match, but pretty happy with how things are going based on the one highlight that we did see and the stats that we can see there on the left-hand side. 1-0 up. Hopefully we can keep this going and go on a decent FA Cup run here if we can keep hold of this result against Getafe. 63 minutes gone here down the Getafe end of the field, although we do head that thrown away, but they are back in possession. Ball over the top. Louis Martins will head that away, and Doyle Hayes will get that up. I thought Wilson Harris might just get to that before one of the Getafe players, and then Bow makes his way right through our defence. That's a really soft goal to concede, and we do go back to a draw at 1-1 with 25 minutes to go. You can see here, Wilson Harris, I thought he might get to that before Perez. The ball gets played forward to Bow, and he just makes his way straight through Vandenberg there, I think it was. So it's a little bit of a soft goal to concede, and things are back at all square with 25 minutes to go. 69 minutes gone, and we have a thrown ourselves now right around the halfway line. Bolton to Lindsay, and now the other way around. Doyle Hayes up for Harris, that is. Can he make it too? You bet he can. Wilson Harris coming back into the first team with some impact. I think that solves our striker issue. He is definitely the backup to Reyes for the rest of the time that Polito's out now. It was a little bit of a 1-2 there between Lindsay and Bolton off the front, and then Doyle Hayes just thumps one up for Harris. Good finish to beat the goalkeeper at his near post again, and we go 2-1 up around the 70-minute mark. Okay, 72 minutes gone here. We're going to make our first substitution. Remy Walter playing okay, but on a red heart. Ryan Wintle can come on for him again with 18 minutes to go. And before that substitution can take place, another highlight starts as we find Bolton out on the right wing. Just keeps that in. Tries to do something there, but the cross is blocked from Fuentes, and we will get this back after they do flick it on there to Getafe, and hopefully we can just calm things down here and hold on to our one goal advantage. Daniel Shallowy plays the ball forward. They cut it out there though to Getafe, and they might be on the counter attack here, playing that forward to Adira. Mata gets around his man there, and Isamat Marin, tight angle, his shot blocked, and then a good shot from Adira at Deschamps, more or less straight at him, but forced to save out. No corner from that, and still it remains 2-1 with quarter of an hour to go. And we will make one more change here, I think, as we've got a few players on red hearts. Doyle Hayes, I feel like we could use an extra defensive midfielder, much like we did in yesterday's episode here. So Jala can come on for him. We'll move him back to have two defensive midfielders in behind Wintle, who can do that box-to-box role. And we'll also take off Daniel Shallowy. Both him and Bolton are a bit tired, and Shallowy on the slightly worse rating. So Felix Mecha can come on for him. We'll see if he can continue his good run of form out on that left wing. But with 15 minutes to go, all subs will be used, and we've got a 2-1 advantage. 77 minutes gone. A highlight shortly off the back of those substitutions. It is a goal kick to Getafe, but Felix cuts it out. We might be able to get back on the attack there. Ball forward for Wintle. Tight angle. His shot saved, though, from Soria, trying to beat him at the near post again, which, to be fair, has paid off for us so far today, but not that time. 88 minutes gone. We have a late corner in this game to try and seal it. Louis Martins puts it in the mixer. headed away, but we get it to Wintle. He'll fire one to the bottom right corner, his first goal of the season, and he finally gets off the mark there, does the English midfielder Ryan Wintle, and we make it 3-1, and surely now we'll be making our way through to the 9th round of the FA Cup, and I think that's where the Premier League teams enter as well, so that could be a very tasty matchup coming up. Good finish after they cleared that corner, and we make it 3-1 with not long to go. We enter injury time, nothing is happening, and we will go through to that 9th round with a 3-1 win. A little bit frustrating that we've come out and beat Getafe after losing pretty comprehensively to Fluminense, but the players who did come in for Zusi and of course Igor doing a good job, most notably Wilson Harris with 2 goals. That I think solves our striker issue for this upcoming transfer window, but a good performance from us there, as I said, there from Wilson Harris, and we'll make our way through to the 9th round of the FA Cup after beating Getafe 3-1. So we've regained some winning form right at the start of this January transfer window, and as you can see on screen, it was largely thanks to Wilson Harris with 2 goals. As I said, I think we might be able to stick with just him and Reyes until Polito comes back, and if we really need to, we'll bring Willian Igor back, and hopefully he can do a little bit better than he has in his first 2 games for the first team should we need to use him. But that will do for gameplay in today's episode. I did put a bid in for that left back from Manchester United to try and get him in on loan, but as I suggested, a lot of other teams interested in him, so we'll see what we can do there. In terms of players at the club, we have actually had some offers come in, so we'll run through those before we end today's episode, just so you are kept up to date with some sales that might be happening at the start of tomorrow's episode. First off, one of the players who got a little bit of game time in our rotation team here last season, Graham Smith, we did bring Seth Vandenberg in just because he had decreased ability-wise this season at the start of it anyway, going up a division. He's had a big come in from Fleetwood, matching his value, and we did accept that we'll get a little bit more than that, in fact, with the per-league appearance and after-league appearance bonuses added onto that. So he is going to be leaving the club should he accept the contract from Fleetwood. Graham Smith, our central defender from last year, and another player who we haven't had a big come in for yet, but he does want to leave, is our club captain. He is lingering down in the reserves, and to be fair to him, we may as well give a youngster a chance because he's only now rated at 2-star current ability, 2-star potential, some pretty significant red arrows there in the physicals, and at 35 years old, I think it's a good time to try and cash in on Roger Espinoza. We've told him that we'll accept an offer that comes in around the $205,000 mark, because when he wanted to leave the club a couple of weeks or maybe even a month ago now, that's what his value was, but it has decreased significantly since then. I think we're just going to let him go for whatever we can get for him. The club captain will have to make a change there, but certainly isn't really a player who can feature in the second tier of World Super League. When you look at those stats, I think it's a good time to be moving him on. So should a suitable bid come in for him, our former club captain Roger Espinoza will be leaving by the start of tomorrow's episode as well. But as I said, that will do for today's episode. When we come back tomorrow, we will be in the Europa League knockouts, so not too far from now. As you can see, this January schedule of ours is pretty hectic, even February, and after that it does start to ease up a little bit, so we may as well make the most of the good games that we've got at the moment while we can, and we can whiz through the latter part of the season when we get there. But first up, the Europa League. We'll see if we can keep our good run in that competition going with Wilson Harris now in the rotation team, who will be playing in those games against Beijing Guan. I think that's a tie that does suit us quite nicely. Hopefully we can get a result against those guys, and we'll also find out who we are going to get in the round of 64 in the FA Cup, as that is when the Premier League teams join, so there might be a tasty matchup on the cards there. And if it is a tasty matchup, we can bring you guys that episode off the back of the Europa League one tomorrow. But if you did enjoy today's episode, where we did pick up a win and a loss, a pretty disappointing loss to Fluminense, but then a good win over Getafe, and please do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and turn on that notification bell, all that good YouTube algorithm stuff. Let me know if you think if I should have bought in a striker on loan anyway. That still could change, of course, if we do get another injury up front, and if you like the look of that Manchester United left back who will cover a Yongo should he accept the contract while he is away at AFCON. And until tomorrow when we take on Beijing Guan in the Europa League, hopefully we can go one step further than we did last year. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
sometimes you can